All right, what's up, guys? It's me, Daniel, VintageMagic.com, and happy Finance Friday. Before we start the video about this retarded, ridiculous situation that happened in Commander, they banned 4 really good cards, and 2 of which are insanely good, but insanely important for just everybody's deck because was made for Commander, essentially. We'll just talk about that here in a second, but I want to remind everybody that I am going to be in MagicCon Las Vegas in October from the 24th to 28th. So if you are looking to meet up for selling me cards, buying cards, looking at artwork, etc., I'm going to have some insane stuff at the show. I am not setting up. I am going to be in one of the hotels on the Las Vegas Strip. You can figure it out if you contact me. But we can meet up. We could grab some drinks, play some blackjack, look at some Magic the Gathering, talk about life, etc. All right, guys, enjoy the video, and this is going to be a good one. So grab some, a Diet Coke, mojito, popcorn. It's going to be good.
Vintage Magic. Game, collect, invest. For more information about our consulting and professional services, visit vintagemagic.com.
All right, guys, welcome back. All right, so let's talk about the banning of Commander and how it affects the financial landscape and also some bigger topics that people aren't really talking about. And we're going to go through that here in today's video. All right, so the 4 cards that were banned were Jewel Lotus, Mana Crypt, Dockside Distortionist, and the Nadu card. And those 4 were banned recently by the Rules Committee for Commander, which I'm not sure if they're affiliated with Wizards, but they probably were elected because based on their clout and such. But there is obviously a relationship there. And I'm not going to cause a conspiracy theory, but I feel like Wizards must know somewhat or have some play of why of this type of banning. And let me explain why here later in the video. All right, so those 4 cards were announced, and everybody in the world of Magic just went blitz on this entire thing. You see so much spamming of videos, so many, hating of Wizards. I'm going to burn my cards. I'm going to destroy them, etc. All right, I get it. All right, so after everybody's initial reaction is over with, and I've waited this entire time. I was going to make the video the same day this all happened, and I waited this entire time because today's Finance Friday, and I want to talk about the financial impact first. So all these cards combined, some people are saying it's in the hundreds of millions of dollars of value just tanked and annihilated. And when you start saying that they're banned in Commander, I guess what they're saying is from the not EDH, but CEDH, the competitive EDH, right? That really would affect those guys a lot because the original thought process was to increase creativity of the decks. If you start, I think banning of cards, right? It has a place, 100% has a place for cards that are ridiculously overpowered. But these cards, especially Soul Ring, we'll talk about that in a minute. Mana Crypt and Jewel Lotus. These 2 cards are so, it's very controversial, so basic in every, everybody has it, right, in their deck. And think about this from a financial standpoint. If you have not just one, but multiple decks of Commander, and you've invested, $100 plus on every single deck for those 2 cards, because that's what they go for. Mana Crypt on the OG book promo version is like $200 or $300. And imagine investing that kind of money, but some people have 30 Commander decks, and they all have Jewel Lotus or Mana Crypt. I mean, look at all that money that now you've put into these cards, and they're just, some people say that they're worthless now. I have something to say about that. They're not worthless, okay? People are overreacting. They're not worthless cards, okay? You can still use them in casual Commander play. So aside from the whole competitive EDH, if you're playing Commander, right? And I'm not the biggest Commander player. I've played it many times. It's great with friends. You can have multiple players, and it's just really fun, right? you can still play it with your play group casually using those cards. If you guys decide that all those cards are allowed in your play group, why in the world would it not be allowed? Shit, if you like said, you know what, I want to put Black Lotus or some of the Power 9, and my play group says, hey, I'm allowing the Power 9, except Time Twister, that's already allowed, in the actual commander, then what's the problem with that? So the problem here is the financial issue. The problem here is that, you know, obviously Dockside has value and also Nadu, right? But the problem is the financial issue where Jewel Lotus, I'll take it as a big example, was specifically made for commander. You can only use it to cast your fucking commander. I don't understand. Like, if you're the rules committee, that's like the one card that everybody has, and I get it. 100% get it. Creativity, it's kind of stupid, right? Every single guy has this card. So if you don't draw into it, you're already, you know, in a deficit, right? Because you can already cast your commander. It changes up the game. You're probably going to get closer to win faster. Got it. I get why they banned it, right? But you got to look at, you know, the overall landscape. What's the financial value too? And this is the gray area. This is a game, right? Magic the Gathering is a game. It should be, you know, if you look at just like chess or checkers or whatever, Scrabble, there's a very small cost to play the game. In Magic the Gathering, it's a huge cost compared to any game you could think of. So there is definitely an issue with the secondary market and also the gaming, the game itself. All right, so because the game is related to buying cards and, you know, these collectibles, and you have to spend a significant amount of money for these decks to be created, you have a kind of a weird dilemma. Everybody is going crazy over this financially because they see a potential loss in their portfolio of their cards. Everybody that buys Magic the Gathering, everybody, generally cares about the value of their decks in some way. There are some of you guys who don't give a shit because the cards, you know, you're not as expensive. You didn't make a really expensive deck. But if you actually spent a lot of money and you got, you know, the pimp versions, foil, alternate versions, special signings, you know, cards, whatever, right? You are going to start getting very frustrated at Wizards of the Coast. But is it really Wizards' fault? That's the posing of the question, first off. The rules committee isn't even, like, Josh Lee Kwai, he's from the command zone, right? I think he was one of the 4 people on the rules committee. He isn't even working, he doesn't work for Wizards, right? I don't think you could actually work for Wizards to be on this board. So he resigned actually recently from the rules committee. He didn't say anything negative. He just said, wish him the best of luck. Because there's so much negative stigma behind this. It's crazy, right? Because let's say you have a deck that was worth a couple $1,000, an EDH deck or whatever, right? And now you remove 2 cards, Mana Crypt and Jewel Lotus. And then let's say Dockside's not cheap, and then you have the Nadu card. It's not cheap, right? These are 4 of the most expensive cards in the actual Commander format. And your value just, you know, a TCG player, is just gone to like, I don't know, 25% off, less, right? It produces this theoretical like value of like, man, I just lost, like my stock portfolio, I lost 25% or whatever you want to call it. Or maybe some people in their minds psychologically think, oh, that stock is now shit. It's basically went bankrupt. That's because now it's banned. It's useless. So what do? Do you sell the cards? Well, everybody, you know, if you look on eBay right now, TCG player, the card is tanked off the cliff. You know, every single version of the card is, you know, being sold, FOMO, you know, not fear of missing out, but basically, yeah, missing out on a higher yield than later on, right? Because it could continue to tank and become worse and worse. This affects the players and affects the investors. There's a lot of investors who bought into these cards, speculating that these cards are going to be worth more. And they obviously, you know, lose confidence in Wizards. But most importantly, the players. The players, the general population who buys these kind of cards, are completely has lost the trust. They can blame Wizards all they want, but it's the rules committee. Like the ban list, right? They must work with Wizards to collaborate on what is banned and not, because there's a relationship. You think about it this way: in the next commander sets or etc., right? If the ban committee bans these 4 cards, that means that Wizards will not be printing those cards down the road. And that means that, Wizards already knows years out on what products they want to do. There's no way they're just going to print it by air or whatever. They work in synergy in some way, right? So because of that, Wizards has, some influence in this game, and the question is, does this ban committee, Commander Ban Committee, actually have all the power too, right? And I would say no. I think it's a two-way street. But I don't think it's completely Wizards' fault. And I also don't think the committee is wrong in the sense that if the purpose of banning cards is to make the game more fun, right? Have more creativity, have a lot more, it's not about just whoever draws the card will just basically get closer to win, right? It's like Library of Alexandria, great example, in old school. If you draw that card and you don't have a strip mine, you're probably going to win the game because you're going to draw a lot of cards and you're probably getting a lot more cards than the opponent, and you're going to end up winning whatever format you're going to do, right? Whatever deck you made. And that's annoying, right? It's annoying. So you have to either restrict them or ban them. Now, in EDH, you only get 1 card anyway. So because you only get 1 card, you can't really restrict it because they're all restricted already, right? So, all right, so let's talk about another thing I was thinking about. Okay, because everybody's using all this money of $100 million has been lost, wiped from the value. Where the fuck are they getting those numbers, right? Who the hell is adding all this shit? Okay, what they're doing is they're trying to make you feel like from a theoretical loss value. The market has lost that today, right, overall. Yes, if you sold all the cards and there's loss that way, you could kind of look at it that way. But first off, no one's selling all their cards or these cards. They're posting like ridiculous FOMO things where like, yeah, everybody buy this from me and, I'm done with Magic, whatever. Okay, fine. You're going to get some of that shit, right? You might get some eBay auctions and, multiple versions over and over again. And there's going to be so many of them, right, that the market will, the buyers don't have the appetite to buy these banned cards. Thus, the prices go down. There's too much supply, and the prices keep dropping until people buy them at a certain level. So there is a reason that there is a point where these cards will flatten. Now, here's the other opportunity, and I'm going to say this from an investor. Okay, and I will, full disclosure, I am not buying any of these cards. Okay, nor have I bought any of these cards. I have no stake in the game for these cards. If you are an investor right now and you see the prices of the OG Mana Crypt, the book promo from 1994 or whatever, 1997, 96, I forget. Okay, that card drawn by Mark Tidine, I think has tremendous value to make a return in unbanned, 100%. The reason why is there's a lot of downside to that card. Sure, you get like a free soul ring, but you could lose 3 life, and if you're fucking unlucky, you're gonna end up dying really quickly, right? So that card, I think, will be unbanned here eventually. Okay, you want to speculate for things? Sure. Jewel Lotus, right? I think Jewel Lotus will probably get unbanned too eventually. There's been so much negative talk. Jewel Lotus was made for Commander. Jewel Lotus is a card that basically 3 mana, any color, to cast your Commander, right? Now, if you think about this, think about all the artist proofs, the signings, the extra versions of the card, foil, borderless, whatever. Everybody spent all this money on these cards, right? If they don't unban this card and they maintain this for years down the road the same way, eventually these cards will be sold, but there is a level of collectability. And this is the part that is interesting to me. Once a card gets banned and the prices start tanking, right? I think there's a possibility for there to be collectability for the cards. It's almost like, kind of like this kind of area where of Magic goes quirky and weird. I'll give you a perfect example. All of the cards that are anti-cards in alpha or beta, like Dark Pack, Demonic Attorney, stuff like that, right? Those cards, contract below, right? They are anti-cards for Magic. However, and you can't use them for gameplay at all, right? In general, you can't use those in any format. But in other, like, casual play, you can do it, whatever, right? But in general, they're just collectibles. And they have tremendous value. They are still valuable because collectors see it as, wow, these were like kind of the history of time type of thing, right? These are valuable in the history of Magic. So I feel like as this all settles, these type of cards, if they maintain in this, this trajectory of not being unbanned, the collectability of it will shoot the prices actually back to where they were, in my opinion, because they're just a cool part of Magic history. That's the way it works. And the controversy alone gives it a lot of like nostalgia too. All right, last few points on this. So what was the point of this video? I'm sharing this video because obviously I feel like it reacts a lot. It goes back to what the reserve list has done. In 1994, right? Or 93 or 94. 94. They basically implemented the reserve list, right? To protect the investment of like the Black Lotus, Underground Sea, Power 9, Dual Lands, all that. Mishra's Workshop, Bazaar Baghdad. Those cards, these list of cards were said, I'm not going to reprint these cards again. The mechanic of taking another turn, like Time Walk, sure, we'll do that again, but it's not going to be for 2 mana, right? It's not Time Walk power, right? So the question is, should Commander have a reserve list? It's a very interesting question. Should there be a reserve list for Commander to protect the investment of the cards? But that's just asking like from a reprintable standpoint. It's not talking about, it has nothing to do with should it be unbanned or unbanned. See, that's another topic. Should it be prevented from banning? It's almost like the never will be banned list ever. Like it'll never be banned for Commander. So that leaves the question, is Sol Ring considered a card that should be banned in Commander? Because talking about Mana Crypt and Jewel Lotus, definitely Mana Crypt and Sol Ring, they're very similar in some way, right? But everybody next to their mom has Sol Ring in your deck for Commander. Sol Ring is the #1 card that's used in Commander. Everybody has it. So does that mean you have a Sol Ring and you drew into Sol Ring first, you're going to have an advantage to win the game? Not really. Yeah, I mean, sure, you could get a head start in some ways, but it doesn't guarantee shit. Just like Mana Crypt. I don't think Mana Crypt really makes you win a game. I think Mana Crypt has a lot of downside because you're just going to take a lot of life and it's always there, right? So I definitely think Mana Crypt will come back, in my opinion. But it's the problem here. The problem here is, how do we prevent something like this? Now, the question is, how do we prevent the rules committee for doing this? It's almost like they have the God hand. They have the ability to produce this Wrath of God effect in the financial landscape of Magic. It also, from a PR standpoint, it's terrible. How do we deal with this? I think in the next coming weeks, days, whatever, they're going to have to address this. Wizards is going to have to address this. They're probably going to have to make some changes. It's too much negativity for the hobby. It's bad. And lastly, it's consumer confidence. If Wizards is trying to come back and grow the business, have people buy more Magic the Gathering products, play Magic Arena, etc. And by the way, this also affects Magic Arena, right? Because now you can't use those cards. So, and they're trying to build consumer confidence. Why would you do this? It's the biggest mystery. And the conspiracy theory, one thing I would think is that, are they going to do something, Wizards, that is coming here soon, that they made a reason why? I haven't figured out the reason why, but I think that there must be a reason why. I don't think they would do this if there wasn't. Now, if there is no reason, and they just totally just did this out of, well, I want more creativity in the decks and blah, 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 okay, then I think they did a royal F up for the entire industry. The way they did it was totally messed up, and I think you'll actually end up losing Commander players and the consumer base confidence. And this is important because financially, those Commander players are not going to buy the pimp versions, the different versions of all the cards. They're going to have a question mark. Oh, wait. Remember that one time when Mana Crypt and Dockside and Nadu and Jewel Lotus were banned? And I spent all that money, thousands of dollars into other cards. Now they're banning it. What do I do? What do I do, right? That defeats the purpose of investing and buying more product. I think it's like disruptive in the environment of everything in Magic. All right, guys, I did a lot of talking. Thank you again, guys, for watching. I got some eBay auctions running, by the way, of like cards that are not in the Commander realm. Check it all out. If you're interested in bidding, the link is below. Well, I appreciate you guys. I want to hear feedback on it. Comment below what you think is going on and how it affects you. I want to hear about it. This is not the last video of this topic. There will be other thought processes going on. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy.
All right, guys. Hope you guys are doing well. Check out this foil Urza's Destiny uncut sheet. That's right, a Texas foil Gaia's Cradle. This entire sheet I acquired recently. I have this and other items for sale. Just contact me. The link is below. Call me or text me at 206-914-7974. I have lots of eBay auctions going on right now. If you're looking for other rarities, just hit me up. Or if you're selling, I'm paying cash. Hope you guys have a great day, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hey, everyone. Before we start the video, I want to show you guys these beautiful altars by Jerry Territelli. These are more complex and challenging, and Jerry did an amazing job for the client. I work with Jerry Territelli exclusively, so please contact me for any commissions, prints, altars, playmats, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. Take care.
Hey everyone, it's me, Daniel with VintageMagic.com. I want to share with you more about how we handle consignments. So to begin the consignment process, we actually need to start with the consultation service. In this consultation, I will determine what you're looking to do. And generally, consigners usually tell me, hey Dan, I'm looking to sell my items and maximize the value of their collection. After we determine through the consultation, I usually like to do an appraisal process. And an appraisal process in terms of a consignment is more fitted towards authenticity and valuation for current market values. From there, after a contract is crafted and signed, we will then receive the items from you. The reason why our consignment process is very thorough is we also identify cards that could be graded so then they can maximize higher dollar values. So the payment process is very simple. Once we have sold your items, you'll get an updated ledger and we will process payment for whatever form of payment you need. As a consigner, you're gonna experience our white glove service. What that means is I'm gonna personally handle your collectibles from beginning to end. And rest assured, the client that purchases your collectibles will also receive the same white glove service. It's a signature service that I really pride myself on in working closely with my clients.
Vintage Magic. Game, collect, invest. For more information about our consulting and professional services, visit vintagemagic.com.